Hello all you ghouls and Geist of St. Traps out there. It's October, the time of year we can all sit down and enjoy some nice pumpkin flavored whatever, and some movies which regularly score lower than Medea Goes to Prison 6 on Rotten Tomatoes. It's also that time of year where it becomes somewhat acceptable to scare one another into a fetal position, and that's exactly what I'm going to attempt to do here today with this super special, scary Halloween special top 10 scariest magic cards ever. At terrifying number 10 is Phyrexian Splicer, a card which looks like a scene ripped right out of the Human Centipede. Everything about this card screams classic Operation Horror. Firstly, we have a rusted, clearly not up to code machine performing a very delicate operation, and we all know just how horrifying malpractice can be. Risk of infection aside, there's a lot of gruesomeness in this art. The man is getting his neck sliced open, he's clearly awake, and he's in immense pain. But the scariest part of this card has to be the huge needle the Phyrexian is holding to this man's neck. Clearly, terrifying. At Nightmarish 9, we have the Living Wall. This pile of human remains is the scariest wall in Magic the Gathering history. The art for this card depicts human teeth, organs, even pieces of brain all congealed together to form a horrific barrier, which I assume keeps people away by scaring them into a coma. The pulsating veins and fleshy tones of this card make it extremely disturbing, while giving you the sense that this seemingly inhuman creation is still very much so suffering. Frightful 8 is Amnesia. If you haven't noticed by now, I have quite the large fear of needles, so this card is right up there for the most terrifying cards in existence to me. Ignoring the pierced skin, the detail on the huge hole in the middle of this man's head and the goo seeping out of it can really give a lot of slasher films a run for their money as far as gore goes. At Scary 7 is the Macabre Waltz. It's just a really fucking gross card. Two misshapen human bodies dancing in a pit of blood. If this was a scene in a movie, I'm sure the entire audience would urinate themselves during this scene. Just look at this card. The guy's head looks like a skinned rabbit or something. Seriously creepy. Coming in at number 666, is TreacherousUrge. I know some of you out there are gonna be like, this isn't scary, it's just some stupid doll. And you're right. When I made this list, I didn't even notice that this wasn't a human in the art. But that's exactly why it's such a frightful card. The puppet is sawing itself in half. It's strung up with barbed wire. This is basically a scene from a Saw movie, but way scarier. Imagine if you were strung up by barbed wire and forced to kill yourself with a dull, rusty saw. Not a very pleasant thought. Fearsome 5 belongs to the one and only Terror. This card depicts its namesake 10 times over, giving us a grim depiction of the cycle of death. The detail on the human body in its states of decay is frightful. We don't like to think of our mortality, and when we are shown human corpses in the various stages of decay, we feel uncomfortable. That's exactly what this card succeeds at. We are forced into this cycle. It's almost like torture. Some really creepy deepy stuff. Freaky 4 is the nightmare-inducing abomination known as Blood Baron. Let's go over some of the more obvious reasons why this card will keep you up at night. Firstly, it has a child in it. The innocence of children has been manipulated to induce fear since forever ago. Seeing a child, albeit a vampire, covered in blood with corpses in the background will always be a disturbing sight. The dreary setting of dead winter-locked forests only adds to the terrifying scene. This is definitely not something you would like to run into during a hike. The Halloween bronze goes to the Fallen. Now, there are a lot of things which really creep me out, needles being one I mentioned earlier, but old pictures is another. Let me explain. You know those old-timey photos of early Halloween costumes? Yeah, those scare the piss out of me. It's something to do with the way the pictures look. I don't know, it's hard to explain. And that's why the Fallen is so high on this list. It gives me the same emotional response as those old-ass Halloween pictures. The face is piercingly disturbing. The woman, or whatever it's supposed to be, grins at you with her sharp teeth and stares right through you with those tiny, lifeless red eyes. This card is one I could easily have nightmares over. The soul-ripping silver for this Halloween top 10 goes to Diabolic Vision. Remember that scene in Signs where the news station gets a glimpse of the aliens for the first time? Well, as a kid, that scene always disturbed me more than anything else in the entire movie. It's that primal fear we all have, to catch something out of the corner of your eye, or to see something for just a split second before it disappears forever. That's what this card is depicting. Imagine looking out of your window in the dead of night, staring out into the darkness, only to see this thing pass by. Good luck going back to sleep. The gory gold and last of the terrible Halloween puns and the title of scariest card in Magic the Gathering history goes to Abomination. Remember when I said the old-timey Halloween pictures always got to me? Well, this card is basically that times 1.5 million. This card screams old horror, a melting, gelatinous human face slipping off. That is most horrifying image I could possibly muster. Just look at this thing. Let me imprint it onto your retina. It's gross, it's morbid, it's just altogether a disturbing piece of art, and also the scariest art in Magic the Gathering. Hey guys, thanks for watching this super special Halloween top 10. Let me know in the comments which cards make you feel like a 4-year-old, and as always, Happy Halloween!